Evidence-based analysis of benefits, risks, and clinical recommendations. Millions of people are taping their mouths shut every night, and most of them have no idea what the science actually says. You've probably seen it on TikTok. Maybe you've even tried it yourself. Or maybe someone you know swears by it. But here's the thing. Before you stick anything on your face at bedtime, you deserve the real story. Today, we're breaking down the benefits, the risks, and what the clinical evidence actually shows about mouth taping for sleep. No hype, no TikTok fluff, just the facts explained like a real conversation. Sound familiar? Hearing big claims about a tiny piece of tape? Stick around, because what you're about to find out might completely change how you think about this trend. What is mouth taping for sleep? Let's start there. It's exactly what it sounds like. You place a strip of tape over your mouth before bed to keep it closed while you sleep. The goal? Force your body to breathe through your nose instead. Now here's where it gets interesting. This thing blew up on TikTok starting in 2023, with people claiming everything from better airflow to sharper jawlines to anti-aging benefits. The products range from porous oral patches to surgical tape to specialized mouth seals. But here's what the slide also shows. The evidence level is low to moderate. We're mostly talking observational studies and people's personal stories. Type yes in the comments if you've seen this trend on social media. So, the question isn't whether people believe it works, it's whether the science backs them up. And that's exactly what we need to look at next. Purported benefits of mouth taping. All right, let's talk about the claims, because there are a lot of them. People say mouth taping gives you better airflow, less snoring, improved asthma symptoms, less dry mouth, fresher breath, better sleep quality, even improved concentration and more defined jawline. I mean, that's quite a list for a piece of tape, right? Here's the honest truth, though. Most of these benefits are anecdotal. The research hasn't caught up. There's no FDA clearance for sleep-related claims, and the majority of data comes from small surveys or pilot studies, not large clinical trials. Small studies do suggest it might help reduce snoring and daytime fatigue for people with mild obstructive sleep apnea. But that's a very specific group, not everyone watching this video. Quick question. How many of you tried this based on someone else's results? Here's the thing. Personal results aren't universal. And up next, we're going to look at what the actual research reviews found. And it might surprise you. Research evidence overview. Okay, here's where we get into the hard numbers, and I need you to hear this. A major systematic review, Rhee et al. 2025, looked at 10 studies with a total of just 213 patients. That's it. 213 people. That's fewer than the students in a single high school class. And of those 10 studies, only 2 showed statistically significant improvement in actual sleep apnea markers. Even those improvements were described as modest and likely not clinically significant. The rest of the studies, found no evidence that mouth taping helps treat mouth breathing or related conditions. Oh, and here's the kicker. All of the studies were rated as poor quality on a standardized research scale. That's not me saying it, that's the researchers. Make sense why doctors are cautious about this? So the evidence base is thin, the studies are small, and the quality is low. But there are some specific cases where benefits showed up. Let's look at those next. Key study findings, potential benefits. Here's the good news part, and yes, there is some good news. Clinical trials have found real signals of benefit, but with a very important asterisk. Lee et al. Found that mouth taping reduced sleep apnea events almost in half and significantly dropped snoring scores. Huang et al. Saw similar AHI reductions and actually measured more space in the upper airway. Teschler et al. Found that REM sleep percentage, your deep restorative sleep, went up after mouth taping. That's genuinely promising. But, and this is the critical part, Every single one of these positive results was in patients with mild sleep apnea, an AHI under 15, and no nasal obstruction. If your nose is congested, if your sleep apnea is moderate or severe, these benefits likely don't apply to you. It's not a universal fix, it's a very targeted one. Does that knowing change how you think about it? Let me know below. So there are real benefits for the right person. But what about the risks? Because this is where it gets serious. I want you to stop for a second and really hear this part. The number one risk of mouth taping is asphyxiation. If your nasal airways are blocked while your mouth is taped shut, you literally cannot breathe. 4 separate studies flagged this as a potential serious harm. And it's not just people with known conditions. Hay fever season, a deviated septum, enlarged tonsils, a common cold. All of those scenarios plus mouth tape equals dangerous situation. Beyond that, the risks include skin irritation, allergic reactions to the adhesive, anxiety and panic from feeling restricted, sleep disruption, and even aspiration risk if regurgitation happens during sleep. Health professionals are clear. For most users, the risks may outweigh the benefits. You've been there, right? Tried something popular and found out the hard way it wasn't safe for you. This is exactly why knowing who should avoid this is just as important as knowing the benefits. That's our next slide. Part 7. Who should avoid mouth taping? This might be the most important slide in this entire presentation. There is a clear list of people who should not be mouth taping, period. If you have untreated sleep apnea and you're not on CPAP, do not mouth tape. Chronic nasal congestion, allergies, or a deviated septum, even a common cold, do not mouth tape. Asthma or COPD without medical supervision? Absolutely not. Children? Not without direct medical oversight. Anxiety or panic disorders? The restricted feeling can trigger episodes. And if you're someone at risk for vomiting during sleep, this is an aspiration hazard. The bottom line the research gives us is this: mouth taping is absolutely contraindicated if you have untreated OSA or any nasal obstruction. Safety is not negotiable here. Raise your hand, mentally, if any of those apply to you or someone you care about. Now, for those who don't fall into these categories, what do the actual medical experts recommend? Let's find out. Expert recommendations and medical guidance. Here's where I want you to pay close attention, because this is what the medical community actually says. International health professionals? They do not recommend mouth taping as a standard practice. The Cleveland Clinic says the evidence isn't strong enough to support it as part of clinical care. The Sleep Foundation says talk to a doctor first, especially if you have any sleep apnea symptoms. The key guidance is straightforward. Mouth taping is not a treatment for sleep apnea on its own. If you have nasal obstruction, address that first. If you have a diagnosed sleep disorder, prioritize proven treatments like CPAP. And if you still want to consider mouth taping, talk to a sleep specialist who can evaluate your specific risk-benefit profile. No major medical body endorses just buying tape and trying it on your own. This requires a clinician-patient conversation. Does it surprise you that no major medical organization recommends this? Now, for those who do get medical clearance and want to try it, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way. That's up next. Practical considerations if trying mouth taping. Okay, so let's say your doctor gives you the green light. Here's what proceeding safely actually looks like. First, product matters. Use something specifically designed for sleep. Porous material, hypoallergenic, easy-release adhesive. Not duct tape, not packing tape. Don't even think about it. Second, start slow. Try it while you're still awake first to see how your body reacts. Then, short overnight trials. Then, longer periods under monitoring. Make sure your nasal passages are clear before you apply it. A saline spray beforehand can help. Monitor yourself. skin irritation, breathing difficulty, or sleep disruption, these are red flags. And if you feel anxiety, panic, or any breathing difficulty, stop immediately. This is not a substitute for prescribed sleep apnea therapy. Track your symptoms and share them with your provider. Would you feel comfortable starting this kind of trial with proper guidance? Let me know below. So, if you've made it this far, you now have the full picture. Let's bring it home. Conclusion and key takeaways. All right, here's everything wrapped up nice and clear. The research on mouth taping for sleep is limited, and the quality of what exists, frankly, poor. Modest benefits do exist, but only for a very specific group: mild sleep apnea, no nasal obstruction, under medical supervision. The risks, including asphyxiation, are real and well documented.